The sorrows of a woman a man betrayed her love. The rain fell softly the night Amara discovered the truth. She sat by the window, fingers trembling around the edge of her teacup, staring out at the blurred city lights. Her heart, once filled with warmth and quiet dreams, now beat like a hollow drum. The text on his phone had been simple but shattering. "Last night meant everything to me. When will I see you again?" It wasn't her name at the bottom. It wasn't her number that had sent it. It wasn't her that he had made love to the night before. Amara had loved Daniel with a kind of devotion that didn't ask for anything in return, only presence, truth, and time. She had been there when he had nothing, when his name was forgotten and his pockets were empty. She had worked late shifts while he studied, cheered him on when the world ignored him, believed in him when he didn't believe in himself. Love for her was not just a feeling. It was sacrifice. It was choosing someone every day. But Daniel had chosen someone else. First, she tried to pretend it was a mistake. Maybe the message wasn't what it looked like. Maybe it was a misunderstanding. She asked calmly. He denied it, then deflected, then grew cold. When the truth finally spilled from his lips, it came without apology, just tired excuses. "She was just there, things haven't been the same with us," he said, as if her love had somehow withered without cause. That night, after he left with barely a goodbye, Amara sank to the floor and wept. Not because he stopped loving her, but because she hadn't stopped loving him. The days that followed were slow and heavy. Her friends offered sympathy, but no one truly understood. They said things like, "You'll find someone better," or "He didn't deserve you." And while those words were true, they didn't mend the shattered pieces inside her. She missed the version of him that only existed in her memory, the one who held her hand when her father died, the one who made her laugh until her stomach ached, the one who once looked at her like she was the only woman in the world. She grieved that man, even though he had never really existed the way she imagined. Months passed, and slowly the sorrow began to turn into strength. Amara stopped blaming herself. She stopped revisiting every conversation looking for the exact moment things began to crack. She stopped trying to understand why he did what he did. Some betrayals have no clean explanation, just weakness, selfishness, and silence where there should have been honesty. She started painting again. She laughed louder, not because the pain was gone, but because she no longer let it define her. Her heart bore scars, yes, but they were hers now. Proof she had loved deeply and selflessly. Proof that she had survived. One evening, as she walked along the riverside under the golden light of sunset, Amara paused and looked at her reflection in the water. She looked tired, but she also looked free. "I loved him truly," she whispered to herself, "and he betrayed that love. But I will never betray myself again." And with that, she turned away from the past, with grace, with pain, and with quiet power. Would you like a continuation of this story, perhaps where she meets someone new or confronts him again later in life? You said. Continue. ChatGPT said. Absolutely. Here's the continuation of The Sorrows of a Woman a Man Betrayed Her Love. Part 2, The Quiet Bloom. Years passed. Seasons changed, cities shifted, and Amara changed with them. By the time she turned 35, the wounds of Daniel's betrayal had faded into the quiet lines of her life story. Not erased, but no longer raw. Like an old scar, it stung only when she pressed too hard. She had moved to a smaller town by the sea, where mornings smelled of salt and jasmine, and the sky always felt just a little closer. She taught art at the local school, her hands now creating beauty instead of holding on to pain. Her students loved her calm presence, the way she saw more in a blank canvas than just emptiness. One day, as she walked through the market, selecting fresh peaches and sunflowers for her little cottage, she heard a familiar voice behind her. "Amara." She turned, heart thudding unexpectedly. It was Daniel. Older. A little heavier. A touch of gray now brushed his temples. His smile flickered nervously as he took her in, like a man seeing a memory made real. "Wow. I didn't expect to see you here. She gave a soft, measured smile. Daniel. It's been a long time. He chuckled awkwardly, eyes searching her face. Yeah. You look incredible. You haven't changed a bit. Amara raised an eyebrow. I have. In all the best ways. He nodded, swallowing. I heard you left the city. Started teaching. Yes. It's peaceful here. She turned back toward the flower stall, picking up a fresh bouquet. What brings you around? I was visiting a client. I run a marketing firm now. Just happened to see you. They stood in silence for a moment. Then he spoke again, lower this time. I've thought about you often. I was a fool back then. Amara turned and looked at him. Not with bitterness. Not with longing. But with calm, unshakable clarity. Yes, you were. His face dropped, caught between shame and hope. I hurt you. I know that. I still regret it. I don't, she said quietly. Not anymore. You taught me what love isn't. And that led me back to myself. He tried to smile, but it faltered. I just wanted to say I'm sorry. She nodded. Thank you. I accept that. And that was all. There was no rekindling, no lingering ache. He wasn't the love that got away. He was the lesson that helped her grow. That night, back in her cottage, Amara sat by the window again, tea in hand, wind playing with the curtains. But unlike the night she found his betrayal, this time her heart was light. She had survived. She had healed. And now she had made room, not for him or his ghost, but for something new. Something worthy. Maybe one day, love would return to her in another form. Maybe not. But either way, she had already won. Because she had found the most sacred love of all, the love of herself.